This is a short story about the Wind River Range and our adventures in these mountains. The Wind River Range, or just Winds for short, are a range of mountains in western Wyoming. They sit on the Continental Divide and tower more than a mile over the surrounding plains. On this hike, we are in the Popoaji Wilderness, which is adjacent to the Fitzpatrick and Bridger Wildernesses. All of these combined cover over 730,000 acres. The winds stretch 150 miles long and about 40 miles wide, and are on the southeast edge of what is recognized as the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem. The winds are not widely known outside of Wyoming, perhaps because there is no national park there, but they are in many ways the true heart of the Rocky Mountains. Wyoming is home to 55 mountain peaks of 13,000 feet or higher, but 49 of these 55 mountains are in the winds. Perhaps the most prominent of these peaks is Wind River Peak at the southern end of the range. In August, we decided to climb Wind River Peak, then fish the many streams and lakes around it. We began our hike from Roaring Fork Trailhead. We climbed 8 miles up and over a high ridge, then descended into the Stow Creek watershed. Several major rivers have their headwaters in the winds. Stow Creek is a trib to the Middle Fork of the Popoaji, which in turn drains into the Wind River, which in turn is the largest fork of the Yellowstone River. The Wind River is unusual in that it is given another name in its lower reaches. You may know it instead as the Bighorn River. Same river. It is worth noting that the winds are public lands, mostly Bridger and Shusho National Forests. Together, these two forests encompass 6 million acres of public lands. On the second day, we hiked another 8 miles. We climbed to Mountain Sheep Lake, which is at the head of the Stow Creek drainage. Within the winds are also many lakes. These lakes were carved by glaciers, many of which are still clinging to the mountainsides. On the third day, we made the hike to Lower Teo Lake, which lies in the shadow of Wind River Peak. We had reached the end of the trail. There is something unusual in these high lakes: golden trout. These trout are native to the Sierra Nevada range of California, but were stocked into these lakes 100 years ago, but have since thrived. Day 4 was the big climb. We did a 2,400-foot climb up Wind River Peak. It wasn't easy. We stumbled up and around boulders the size of small homes, and if that wasn't enough, the wind was blowing so hard it seemed like we would get blown off the mountain. Many hours and false summits later, we made it. The view was incredible. From the peak, we looked down on the famous Wind River Glacier. Within the Wind River Range are many glaciers. In fact, there are more glaciers in the winds than in Glacier National Park. More than 183 glaciers cover about 10,000 acres within the Wind River Range, and no American mountain range outside of Alaska and Washington has more ice than the winds. It felt great to climb the peak, but in the back of my mind I realized that this trip was coming to an end. The next day we hiked up and over a tall ridge beside the peak, then descended down to the Deep Creek Lakes. After a night there, we started the 2-day hike out. It was an easy hike out, but we all had a slight feeling of disappointment as the trip was coming to an end. It was a great trip with lots of good memories, and we look forward to going back.